Good morning, guys. This is Chase, and this is my electrical safety presentation. Hopefully, this intro gave you enough time to read the little meme at the top, and I'm going to jump right in right away. Electrical safety is one of the most overlooked things in our profession. We average 150 workplace fatalities a year, makes up a little over 5.5% of all workplace fatalities. 19% come from unexpected contact with live parts, having something off that isn't actually off that you think is off. And 4% comes from working on live equipment. Also, I touched a little bit on home safety, electrical fires at your house. 30,000 non-fatal shocks a year at home, 20% of which are children. Today I'm going to cover a little bit about the NFPA 70E, what it is, how it's used, arc flash labels, what do they say, what's all on it, and understanding what all of that means. And then proper PPE, what to wear in situations, and also a little bit about what not to wear. So to start off with the NFPA 70E, NFPA stands for National Fire Protection Association. It covers the standards for electrical safety in the workplace. And covered in it is shock hazards, safe work practices, labeling, training, PPE, and risk assessment. And one of the most important things to me is risk assessment. I think a lot of us look at it as if we have to shut something down, how long is it down for? But I think when you look at risk assessment, it needs to be more about your safety, coming home each day from work. No job is worth your life. Why safe practice is important. I have a couple short-term and long-term effects of shocks. Under the short-term, I have muscle contraction, pain, tingling, dizziness. That's all onset right away. Long-term, it can result in memory loss, nervous disorders, damage to your vital organs, and in some cases, even death. I threw in a little bit about the NFPA 70 arrangement, where you can find everything. Article 100 covers definitions just like in your NEC code book. Article 110 is requirements for safe work practices. Article 120 establishes safe work conditions. And Article 130 involves working on live electrical hazards. Arc flash labels, they fall into the labeling category of the NFPA 70E. We're going to cover knowing and understanding what's on these labels. We're going to cover what an arc flash is and possible injuries from an arc flash. Required on the label, the danger warning header. Normally you'll see warning. If it's anything over 600 volts, it'll say danger. The incident energy at is the distance from a possible arc point to your head or body of the person performing the work. The minimum arc rating is measurement of thermal energy, how big that blast is going to be if there is an arc, or how small that blast can be if there is an arc. Arc flash boundary is the shortest distance in which someone could withstand permanent injury. PPE, there's a list of required PPE based off the risk category on every arc flash label. Limited and restricted approach, I'm going to cover a little bit more in the next slide, the difference between the two. And then the shock risk is just the voltage of the equipment you're working on. Limit approach is a shock hazard still exists. It's a little bit farther away than a restricted approach. And unqualified workers can enter the limited approach, but they should be supervised by a qualified worker. A restricted approach is the highest likeliness of shock, and it's for qualified workers only. And a qualified worker is one who has received training and demonstrates understanding of the work being performed. What is an arc flash? It's an electrical explosion caused by an arc fault resulting in intense heat, light, and pressure. Things that can cause an arc flash: accidental contact with live parts, equipment failure such as wires breaking down, and environmental factors, dust, dirt, any of that stuff can cause an arc flash. Arc flashes can get up to 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so make sure if you're working in live equipment, wear your arc rated clothing. Be smart about it. Some possible arc flash injuries: burns from the explosion, hearing damage from the noise of the explosion, respiratory damage when the metal parts inside vaporize and you breathe that in, cause respiratory damage, flying debris, vision damage, and even brain trauma from flying parts. PPE, personal protective equipment. Know the requirements. Make sure you're checking the arc flash labels, know what you gotta wear. I'm gonna talk a little bit about everyday PPE, and make sure you're inspecting your PPE. No one else is gonna check your stuff for you. It's on you to make sure you're being safe. Things to make sure you're wearing: 100% cotton long sleeve FR rated clothing, safety glasses or arc flash shields, hearing protection, electrical rated work boots, and then make sure you have the proper gloves rated for the work you're performing. Things not to wear: any metallic jewelry, any loose clothing, open toe shoes and not insulated boots, loose long hair, and then this one kind of hits home for me: non-conductive meltable clothing. I included some pictures from when I ignored all the safety precautions, didn't wear my FR rated clothes, wore this polyester shirt, short sleeve shirt, and they don't burn, they don't burn up, they melt to you, and it sucks to pull it off. So just make sure you're wearing what you should be wearing to work on stuff. Why all this is important: it's super important to use all three of these things together, understand what you're doing. Using all of this, I mean, it saves lives. I don't want to ever hear from any other electricians in school that you weren't being safe and now you're no longer with us, so don't become another statistic. The risk is not always worth it, and you can't be afraid to say no if you're not comfortable working on something. You know, if somebody wants you to do something live and you don't feel comfortable doing it, it's a lot better to say no than be thrown into a situation where you can make a mistake. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a good day.